Please join our YouTube community and subscribe today, as 91% of viewers haven't yet hit that subscribe button. A colossal snowstorm erupted suddenly, shaking everything within a radius of 100 meters, accompanied by a surge of fear. After the turmoil subsided, Genie Sin remained upright, desperately catching her breath. The peril facing Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai was dire. Clearly dissatisfied with their failed joint assault, they lamented their inability to slay Genie Sin, a regrettable outcome despite their proximity. As it happened, during the pivotal moment, his followers disentangled themselves and hurried to shield him, absorbing a considerable amount of damage. However, this failure revealed their abilities to their adversaries, who would now prepare accordingly, diminishing the likelihood of a similar opportunity arising in the future. In the heat of battle, the ranks of the Snow Worship sect's followers swelled, their eyes ablaze with madness. With knives, staves, and even frying pans in hand, they charged recklessly, displaying a frightening disregard for their own lives. Even the most seasoned soldiers were unnerved by their ferocity. It seemed they were not merely unafraid of death, some appeared to embrace it willingly. This relentless onslaught, where they were willing to sacrifice 10 or even 20 lives for just one of ours, threatened to persist unabated. Should they emerge victorious, it would amount to a Pyrrhic triumph, considering the sheer numerical superiority of the Snow Worship sect's followers. Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai both grasped the gravity of the situation. This unconventional style of combat caught them off guard. Typically, they would leverage their military might to strike down a significant portion of the enemy forces, causing the remainder to surrender or scatter. However, facing the relentless hordes of the Snow Worship sect, this usual tactic proved futile. If we persist in this manner, behaving like lunatics, even though victory seems attainable, it will only lead to mutual destruction, a scenario we cannot tolerate. Let's not forget about the formidable Emerald Waterside base to the north. Keeping that in mind, Xia Holi abruptly exclaimed, "My cousin and his dozen men perished. Your Snow Worship sect is the prime suspect. Provide a rational explanation." In addition, my trusted Lieutenant Wang Guishuan met his demise near the West Mountain base. Throughout Heavenly Sea City, there's no other force I can imagine daring to strike at us. If you fail to provide an explanation today, we will obliterate your Snow Worship sect. The priests of the Snow Worship sect, not fools by any means, were initially prepared for a battle to the death. However, they swiftly shifted to negotiation upon witnessing the seriousness of the situation. Amidst the dire circumstances, Han Chong clenched his teeth in frustration. His right hand contorted into a savage claw, seizing a soldier's head and hurling it vehemently toward Xiao Honglian with a glare. He demanded, "What connection do the casualties in your factions have with our Snow Worship sect? Offer some proof." Witnessing the swift dodge, Xiao Honglian retorted mockingly, "Why speak of evidence now, in such dire times? Are you implying I should?" Genie Sin intervened, halting Han Chong, seemingly comprehending the source of their furious assault. "Our Snow Worship sect has consistently upheld peace, honoring our agreements with you. We've never harmed any of your people." Wei Dinghai chuckled in response. "If not you, then who could it be? The Emerald Waterside base wouldn't go to the lengths of venturing to Heron's River to launch an attack against us. I can't conceive of any other faction in Heavenly Sea City that would dare to assault both our factions simultaneously and execute it with such stealth that scarcely any evidence remains." Genie Sin paused, drawing a deep breath. "Have you contemplated that beyond the 4 main bases and the Snow Worship sect, there could be other formidable forces in Heavenly Sea City, perhaps even rivaling our own strength?" Upon hearing this, Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai responded in unison. "How could that be, since the apocalypse, the 5 major regions were distinctly divided amongst ourselves, with the exception of the Snow Worship sect, which stands as an anomaly? There are no circumstances elsewhere for a new power to arise. Genie Sin's encounter isn't entirely implausible. Haven't you noticed some notable disturbances in the Heron's River area over the past month?" Upon hearing this, both contemplated for a moment. Among the 4 main bases, the West Mountain base held the highest strength. However, indeed, there had been reports in the past month. Despite reports from scouts of frequent gunfire, no one believed that the West Mountain base could have been obliterated by that force. Instead, they attributed the downfall of the West Mountain base to a perceived offense against the River South domain. Wei Dinghai snapped back to reality, dismissing any attempts at persuasion. "Smooth talker, don't think a few words will sway our anger. Why should we believe you?" Xia Holi interjected bluntly, pointing directly at Genie Sin. Unless you have evidence to prove your innocence, we will definitely destroy your snow worship SEC today. Genie Sin's men informed Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai that they went to the West Mountain base that day and encountered your Morning Dew base's Wang Ruizuan. However, they also encountered 3 individuals behaving suspiciously who could potentially be the perpetrators you seek. Han Chong added. These individuals were dressed in combat uniforms of the West Mountain base. At that moment, we assumed they were remnants of the West Mountain base. We had no intention of being entangled in your base conflicts, so we departed. As for what unfolded thereafter, we're unaware. I've only just learned from you about Wang Ruizuan's demise. Wei Dinghai responded with a grave expression. Are you implying there are still remnants of the West Mountain base lingering around, slowly regaining their strength in secret? Zhao Honglian quickly retorted, that's impossible. Their shelters were destroyed by missiles and all their supplies, and resources were buried underground. What chance do they have to regain their strength? Furthermore, even if there were any survivors, they would likely be in hiding, not bold enough to attack both of our factions at once. Zhao Honglian shrugged and chuckled, not now, and not ever in the past. I don't think Chinchinian had the guts. Genie Sin then said solemnly, is there a possibility that the recent disturbances in the Herons River area resulted in West Mountain base being defeated? We don't know about that force, and they don't know about us either. That's why they could dare to act so boldly. Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai found this reasonable, as normally the 5 major powers would balance each other out and none would dare to initiate conflict rashly. Only outsiders would be likely to do something like this. Continuing the fight was no longer viable. None of the 3 factions wished to endure substantial losses, and there was uncertainty about potential unseen adversaries. Zhao Honglian and Wei Dinghai exchanged glances and resolved to return for a thorough investigation. However, they couldn't reveal any hint of weakness, so Zhao Honglian, with an authoritative demeanor, pointed at Genie Sin. Today, you're our target. We will most certainly conduct this investigation. With a defiant retort, Han Chong said, go back home thoroughly. If we find out you're involved, we won't let it slide this time. We'll wipe out your den in one fell swoop. Who's afraid of whom? If we're in the right, we fear no accusations. If you dare to come at us hard again, we'll make sure you don't return on their way back. Wei Dinghai remarked to his companion, I never expected the snow worship sect to grow so rapidly. We need to discuss our next steps carefully. The mesmerizing prowess of the charlatan is unparalleled, drawing in a multitude of devotees. Zhao Honglian scoffed at the deceptive cult leader. Now, even my servants entertain the notion of fleeing to them. It's disheartening to witness so many gullible individuals who cling to the notion of an idyllic afterlife, replete with abundance and perpetual warmth. As the opposing forces converged at the midpoint of their voyage, poised to continue onward, they parted ways. Wei Dinghai exited his vehicle and approached Zhao Honglian. What's your plan from here? Zhao Honglian smiled with significance. We'll certainly pursue this matter until its conclusion. Aren't you doing the same? Wei Dinghai shrugged. I mean, should we keep working together? Our objectives are probably aligned. If there is indeed such a powerful force, it's more hazardous to go it alone. Consider it. Qinchin is already dead and the snow worship sect is greatly weakened today. If we join forces now, wouldn't controlling the entire Heavenly Sea city be as easy as flipping one's hand? Zhao Honglian remained silent, driving away from the scene as Wei Dinghai watched the departing convoy, filled with a sense of both admiration and resignation. This woman is truly formidable, he mused. If only I could bring her down, the entire Heavenly Sea city would be mine. In that instant, his deputy Qin Jingwan approached and voiced her concerns. Boss, I have a lingering feeling that this woman is concealing something from us. Wei Dinghai waved it off. Isn't that glaringly apparent? There are no enduring alliances, only enduring interests. As he spoke, Wei Dinghai's memory stirred. That cryptic text message from earlier might hold more weight than initially thought, especially considering the suspect in the theft case at the southern warehouse, suspected to be the warehouse manager Zhang Yi, now resides in Ulu District. Whoever was fighting West Mountain Base by Herons River, it must have been a seemingly insignificant character.
Hey there! This concludes the explanation up to the latest chapter release. Stay tuned for the next chapter breakdown as soon as it's available.